So as soon as I landed, police stormed in. They put handcuff on me. And because I was kind of a big guy, my English wasn't that good. Thousands of people coming, dead bodies are coming back on the back of a truck. They're rolling them into the cemetery. There was no hope. You were just asking that question of yourself. When is my time? When is my turn?
You land in the US, new language, new rules. Day one, what mindset kept you moving when nothing felt familiar?
I said, are you stupid or something? He just stared at me and he walked away. And the Arab guys that were around, hey man, you're crazy. You know who this is? It was one of the biggest Chicago's mobster in the prison.
Wow.
I wanted to train without distraction. So in order to keep the doors open, I had to train people to make some money, to keep the doors open, of course. So I started training them. I was writing and crying, just going back because I had to go back to childhood. I know American dream because I'm living it. But at the time, this wasn't my mindset. My mindset was, I'm going to make this happen. Regardless of there is a dream here or not, I will make this happen.
Welcome to Beyond the Summit, where we explore how health fuels wealth and how wealth unlocks freedom. I'm your host, Amir Golshani. Today's guest is living proof that small room, big heart, and a relentless system can change lives. He is the founder of Six Packs Gym in Culver City, California, and the author of Small Gym, Big Results. Please welcome Siavash Fashi. Siavash, welcome.
Thank you so much, Amir, for having me. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for creating a platform like this for people like me to come and share their story. I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. Welcome, Siavash, again. Before we dive in, what's been the highlight of your week?
Just to be honest, contacting you, giving me so many positive and encouraging words. I love it. Talking to you just yesterday, we talked about like 5-10 minutes before we jump on this, and it motivated me. So I'm really excited to be here. This is a highlight of my week being here.
That's great. That's great to hear that. Siavash, I like to start simple. You wear a few hats: founder, coach, author. Mm-hmm. If you had to introduce yourself the way you see yourself today, how would you put it?
This is actually a very interesting question. I'm actually, each part of my journey, I noticed I have to change myself. At one point, I was a bodybuilder, and letting that go and become a businessman, becoming a gym owner was the biggest challenge. And now I'm transitioning from being a trainer on the floor, being the gym builder, the guy who helps people to open their own six-pack gym. So I'm in transition of growing alongside of the business. And this is where I'm at. I'm trying to find myself in this new role and constantly remind myself. But the old role sometimes pulls you back. So I'm trying to constantly make myself conscious of my new position and the new hat that I got to wear.
Yeah, that's beautiful saying that. But if I want to ask you, or someone asks you today, what do you do these days?
I consider myself a gym builder. My whole mission right now is to teach others how to open their own six-pack gym. So that's where most of my effort goes, because the gym right now is running like a machine from 5:30 in the morning till 8 p.m. As you can see, I'm sitting here in front of you, and the gym is running without me. So my new role is a gym builder. I'm the person who helps people to open their own six-pack gym and change people's lives in their own neighborhood.
Beautiful, beautiful. That actually sets the tone for where I want to go. Let's rewind a little.
Absolutely.
Take us to the scene, young Siavash, wartime Iran. You see a photo that lights a fuse. Where were you? What did you feel in your body? And what did that moment change for you?
Believe it or not, I got goosebumps asking this question. What I see myself in western part of Iran, the small town called Kangovar. I was 7 years old, and it was the height of the war. Thousands of people coming, dead bodies are coming back on the back of a truck. They're rolling them into the cemetery. And I lived right next to the cemetery. My dad was sent to war, basically, but we were living in Kangovar and seeing those hundreds of dead bodies coming back. There was no hope. You were just asking that question of yourself, when is my time? When is my turn? Basically, the war it took the spirit out of all of us. And the mom, daughters, sisters, they're all looking at these people coming back, crying. It was just a very, very dark time in Iran at the time, unfortunately, 8 years of it, costing thousands of lives. And I was a kid in the middle of this, trying to make sense out of it. There was no answer to it. It was just pure pain. There was no escape from that pain, from the watching TV all the way on the streets, shortage of food, shortage of oil, shortage of gas. It was just, we were in basically the middle of a mess. And at the time, Saddam threw chemical, basically weapon into Kurdish area of Iraq. And so they all ran away. They came to our area. People were sleeping on the ground, standing on line for bread, especially those line of bread. That's a reminder of my childhood, hours and hours just to get a few loaf of bread. So it was a painful time. That's what I remember from when I was a kid.
So going through all of that, how did you decide to actually move forward, experiencing all what you said?
So I felt like I felt like I've been through so much. I felt like it just was a calling. It just prepping me for something. Now that I'm 45 years old, I'm looking back at it like this. But at the time, I wasn't conscious enough to understand what's going on. So it was just moving forward, just waking up. And at the time, this was a situation of a lot of people. It wasn't just me. So you were just moving with this. Basically, you're just trying to wake up at the time. And since I was a kid, I think this is my talent. I was able to create delusion. I was a very delusional kid. So what I mean by that, I was creating this world for myself and I was living in it. So the way
Right.
the way I want to explain it, for example, I would get fascinated with Taekwondo and I would completely go into that bubble. So it protected me from the outside world. So I was very delusional. I would say that I would tell myself stories that would help me to survive through that pain. And that became kind of, I applied that throughout my life. Anytime I was into pain or something that I could not emotionally handle, I would create this delusion and I would live in it to protect myself.
Is it fair to say that from early ages, you were a big dreamer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would get lost in those dreams just to be able to survive the painful time. I would picture beautiful thing to myself and I would live that in my head.
Yeah, that's powerful. So what did strength mean to you then compared to now?
Believe it or not, when I was a kid, I was constantly getting, because I was very white skinned and I had a green eye and everyone thought I'm soft. And actually, my whole childhood growing up, I thought I'm a very weak person. And because we were in a Kurdish area of Iran, and the strength meant a lot, and being big and looking mean and stuff like that. And I wasn't that kid. I was a pretty boy running around, and the outside voices was constantly telling me I'm weak. So that was my whole trying to prove myself that I'm this strong guy. That's why I started doing Taekwondo, getting really, really good at it, because that voice was I was channeling that voice toward Taekwondo and, of course, later on bodybuilding.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I can see how those early seeds later grew into something bigger.
Absolutely.
If you're comfortable sharing, as a teen, you faced a serious eye condition. Mm-hmm. How did that rewire your sense of risk and urgency? We can keep it high level if you prefer.
Absolutely. No, I can open it up for you guys. Unfortunately, at the age of 18, I was diagnosed with a cancer in my right eye. So at the time, I got sick for 2 weeks. They took me to a hospital. We were in southern part of Iran. Nobody could figure it out. I was keep throwing up. I was losing weight, and nobody could figure it out. After 2 weeks, they say, you know what? You got to send this kid to Capital City. So I went to Capital City, one of the best hospital in Tehran, and they examined me. There were other doctors were coming in. It was a rare disease on my right eye, and it wasn't treatable in Iran. It's just, and they told me that it's going to leak to your liver, and that's it. Pretty much, it's over. So I was like, I didn't want to believe it. I just couldn't. I had all these dreams I built in my thing. I didn't want to believe it. But every time I was going to my grandmother's house or anywhere I go, people were expecting this is it for Siavash. They were all sad. My own family, my mom, dad, all crying all the time. So that was, and at that time, I didn't want to give up. I just didn't. I couldn't accept it. There was a voice inside me, I would say, that it did not. I would go really deep, and I remember walking on the streets, just thinking, this can't be it. This can't be it. There's got to be. As I said, again, I went into my delusional world of bodybuilding. I was, no, I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be this bodybuilder. I was constantly imagining this thing to escape from that pain, from that reality. And that's how I got through it. And at the time, My dad gave me $100, so I left. That's the only money he had. He had 4 kids, and we were really not doing good financially. We didn't have any kind of capital. He was coming from a village himself. So with $100, I left Iran. I left Iran and ended up becoming a refugee. Start searching for a better life, and of course, fixing this eye.
But that's so powerful, So fast forward, you land in the US, new language, new rules. Day one, what mindset kept you moving when nothing felt familiar?
Absolutely. So when I came to America, I came with a fake passport. I jumped and said, you know what? I got to get to America. This is a land of opportunity, the dream. I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be number 1 bodybuilder in the world. That was the delusion that I gave myself to push forward and push through this pain. So as soon as I landed, the plane landed, police stormed in. They said, everyone seated, remain seated. You stand up. I stood up. They put handcuff on me. And because I was kind of a big guy, my English wasn't that good, but I could speak a bit of English. I was from Iran, and everything was against me. And they thought I'm a militant, probably from Iran, being able to pass through all these airports. And they were just kind of puzzled how I can do that. So I ended up in maximum security prison. And first day, I remember taking me in, and it was the most notorious criminal in America are held here. And I remember being in a little room like this, 6 of us in a two bunk, and I got on my top of the bunk, and I was like, no one knows where I'm at. I can't make phone calls. Nobody, it's just, I don't know anyone in America. So I lay down on that bunk, on top bunk, and I just start tearing up. And I said, man, I'm in bad situation. I just got to make it out. So at that moment, I told myself, I got to snap out of this being soft and weak. I got to bring it up, to survive here. So I entered a different mode, and I said, you know what? I got to stand solid and just don't let these negative voices crack through my head. So I keep talking to myself the right way while I was in prison, they were not providing me lawyers. They were nothing. I had absolutely nothing, stuck in this hole. And just waking up and kind of playing chess and learning what's going on in the lowest part of the society in America. I started from that.
Oh, it must have been really complicated situation. I'm wondering what was going on into your mind back then, So, wow, what I was thinking, what happened, where am I, what's going on, what's next?
Yeah, it's just at those moments, you can't think like that because there is so much uncertainty. This is one thing that I like to tell your audience as well. There will be in life, there will be times that things are uncertain. I know the human nature, we want to be one certain, certainty gives us comfort. And a lot of us skip this part by taking drugs, drinking a lot of alcohol. So you try to skip reality. But if you want to live a real life, real is painful. And why? Because of all this uncertainty. You want to know if you're going out or not. So I was in that, and I was just waking up trying to not look for an answer, because looking for an answer, it would torture you. Sometimes you just got to go through the time. Looking for an answer is actually worse. So at that time, I wasn't looking for an answer. I was just fascinated with all this, to be honest, criminal that it was for example, one of the guys, the cellmate that the prison that they moved me in, I remember they were constantly moving in me from one prison to another, chained, handcuffed, blindfolded, because they didn't want me to make friends. So one day they took me to this prison, and there were a bunch of guys, the Arab guys, they were playing card, and I like playing card too, but I hate losing. I'm a sore loser. So I sat across to this guy, a shorter guy. He was sitting there, and we threw a card, and he made a mistake. I said, hey, man, what are you doing? And he said, I said, are you stupid or something? He just stared at me, and he walked away. And the Arab guys that were around, hey, man, you're crazy. You know what this is? It was one of the biggest Chicago's mobster in the prison. Wow. So I started getting to know him. We got friends. So it's just like I started making a lot of connection inside the prison. That was my thing. I said, hey, man, if I get out, I need this connection. So I made a lot of connection within the prison. Every time they're moving me, I would get phone numbers. But a lot of them were criminal. Of course, I wouldn't go out seeing them. But when I got out of prison, actually, I was homeless on the street walking in Chicago when I got out almost a year after. I called one of those guys, the cellmate, that he became a Christian. He was always praying on his bunk. So I said, you know what, let me call him. So actually he helped me. He gave me put a little mattress in his basement, and I started sleeping in that. So my mindset in prison was just, you know what, you're here, milk it, see what's going on. And that's what I was just constantly, I got to know a lot of people. It's very, very, very criminal people, but it was that's how I kind of spend my time.
I really love that. I see you started networking, even
Always,
that situation.
always.
So with that being said, it takes us to this question that what was your first small win on American soil?
So I would say it's funny the way I translate life to myself. I win all the time. So I don't translate. Even making new friends or making some progress. Probably when I got the lawyer, the biggest one was they gave me this free lawyer, and we went to court. And after almost a year, they gave me the asylum, the refugee status. So I think that was the biggest win of my life at that time. They shook my hand and they said, "Sorry, we're keeping you for this long." Blah blah blah. And they gave me the status, and now I'm homeless on the streets. Right after the biggest win I had, the second one was I was on the streets the couple of days after when they let me out of prison. I was middle of the Chicago with all these buildings, and I don't even have shoelaces because in maximum security prison they take you shoelaces so you don't kill each other. So I was walking on the streets with no shoelaces, and all these the guys who was been in prison, they knew I'm out of prison. I'm going under the bridges, and all these guys are standing in a corner. I can tell they know where I come from but regular people didn't know. But those guys, they could spot me right away. That's kind of the life is kind of like this. You win and then you head down. You win, you head down. It's just being that up and down for me.
So I'm sure by that time you've heard about, so American dream, and these abundance mindset, in America. So finding yourself in that kind of situation, tell us a little bit more about American dream that you believed in back then and what you followed and what happened.
Not. Absolutely not. I didn't, but with this American dream stuff, it's all, in my opinion, it's dependent on your environment. So when you come and you're poor, what happens? You end up hanging out with poor people. What do poor people think of? They think limit. They think, no, they don't think abundance. But when I came to LA, so I was in Chicago and then I stayed there for a couple months and I got my few months, 3 months or something. I got my Social Security, the number that you are able to work. And I was staying in the basement of Braulio, the guy I told you from prison. So I took a train 3 days and I ended up in LA. 3 days later, I ended up in LA. I remember getting off the train and I looked around and I saw the palm tree. I saw the blue sky. I said, only God can stop me. Nobody can stop me now, because I saw what's in front of me and I came to take it. I don't come, my attitude is always come take it. I'm not coming here for you to, hey, knock on my door. Hey, here this is, and this is it. No, if you have something, you go get it. I'll never, to be honest, at that time, right now, I know American dream because I'm living it. But at the time, this wasn't my mindset. My mindset was, I'm going to make this happen. Regardless of there is a dream here or not, I will make this happen.
Yeah, this is great, So, and then when you landed in LA, so what happened then? What did you decide?
So
to
yeah,
do?
I was walking on the street. I start going to. I would target one street. I would just go in and I say, I'm looking for a job. I would ask every shop in one street. I would go in and I would ask them. And at the time it was 2008, so America just it had a crash. The economy crashed, so it was no job at all. So I was keep walking on the streets and looking for a job, and I think I had $1,000. I gave the guy for the rent, for the Syrian guy that he gave me a place to stay, and I saw an ad for a security job. And so I called the guy. I said, hey man, I want to be a security. He said, do you have guard card? I said, what is that? He said, man, you got to get a guard card. I went to downtown LA, $80. I got the guard card. I called him back. I said, hey man, I want to work. He said, graveyard shift, 11 to 7. I said, no worries, I'll be there. So I ended up being there. I always look sharp. I started going to the gym, training, and I'm ready to be a bodybuilding champion. I'm here. I want to be a world number one. So the guys, every time they showed up at night, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'm sharp. I'm standing, my tie, I'm clean shaved. They really liked me. My attitude, I had everyone's numbers, all the cars that are coming into the gated community, I knew it by heart. So I didn't even need to look at the license because I learned it so quick. And they loved me for that. So they made me a manager. So they moved me to the morning shift. I worked from 7 to 3. 7 to 3, I would work, rush to the gym, and would train. I found this guy who was a trainer of champions, and he started training me for free as well. So I would train with him till about 5:30. I would rush home, take shower at 6 o'clock, and then I would go to another job at 7 till 2 in the morning. And then that's how I would repeat it. I would sleep 4 or 5 hours a day, and I would just bang it. I'd just go at it because my whole idea was to train hard and become the world champion. I knew that this is a phase I got to go through.
Beautiful, beautiful. At what point did fitness stop being just about training your body and start feeling like a calling to build something larger, something like Six Packs Gym?
Yes, for me, bodybuilding, taekwondo, before that, is always about beating you. I never did anything for myself spiritually or anything. No, I didn't believe in that. Even for me, it's competition. And that's why I love capitalism here. I'm coming to beat you. And for me doing this, it forces you to be better. And that's, I believe, iron sharpens iron. That's how always my mindset has been. But the biggest shift happened when I started. I was bodybuilding hardcore. I was dieting, getting ready for show, competing. And I started opening my own gym. I opened my own gym with $3,000 unemployment money that I had. I had this little room, couple of bar. So I had this idea in my head because I trained at Dorian Yates' gym, the world champion. He had this dungeon. And I said to myself, I got to lock myself into this dungeon, not to be distracted with a girl at Gold's Gym Venice. So I started building that, and I wanted to train without distraction. So in order to keep the doors open, I had to train people to make some money, to keep the doors open, of course. So I started training them. But my knowledge was, to be honest, was so high. And the regular people, they just wanted to see their six packs. It was very easy for me to accomplish this. So I would tell them what to do, and I'd give them diet. I would train them. I would keep them accountable. And these guys would get results in a matter of a few months. And they were so thankful. They were, oh, Siavash, you changed my life. They start writing a lot of reviews online. And I start really liking it actually more than training myself and being, every day I'm showered with love and praises. And I say, you know what? This is a lot of fun. And that's the slowly I realized this is my calling, because my personality was matching the business, who I am and all these experiences that I had, the hell that I've been through. People would come with their pain, and I would share a part of my life. I didn't like to share my story at the time. I would share one part just to help them out, and then boom, they would snap out of it. And I was like, wow, seems like but still I didn't believe it till clients, where I'm at in the west side of LA, till clients start telling me how good I am, and I start installing that belief system in me. So that's when I start thinking bigger and bigger. And this is one of the advice that I would like to give to the audience listening, that at the beginning, you may not know the whole thing. The life, the business, the whole thing will push you toward your calling. So you just have to go in and put in work. That's what my idea was. Like, get up and throw wood in a fire. Don't expect the fire yet. Just throw wood in a fire. So I would wake up and give it my best on that day, just one day at a time. And slowly, I found my calling, and I deviated from being self-centered kind of thing, that constantly focusing on myself. Now I start giving back, and it felt amazing.
I love that, so just start doing the thing, take the action, and then just move forward from that point.
Yeah. The one thing I like to tell people here is, when you're going to a shooting range, you're trying to shoot something. A lot of people take their time aiming for 10 minutes versus myself. I shoot first and I see where did I land, and then I adjust my second shot versus waiting to do the first shot. So I encourage all of you that are listening, go for it, yeah. And just go at it, and things will fall in place.
Yeah, too much thinking, that will be analysis paralysis. Yeah, absolutely. So for those people who may think, that they need to start big. So when you started your gym, so what your equipment and, things looked like back then, so how did you start?
So I started with $3,000 unemployment money. I remember I got fired from the security job, and I was looking for a job. I couldn't catch a break. As I said, it was 2010. A lot of soldiers coming back from war, they were applying for the same security job that was paying $8, $9 an hour. So they were getting the job, not me. So was I mad? No, not at all. They were more qualified than I was. These guys were real soldiers coming back asking for a security job. So let me tell you, this is where I'm going with $3,000. So now unemployment sent me a $3,000 money. I remember opening that pocket and I said, holy shit, this is the biggest money I've ever seen. I got to do something with it. I found a place on Craigslist. There's a site here that you can look for used stuff. So I found this place for $1,900. I had $3,000. So I went to the guy and I said to him, here's the $1,900. He said, what about deposit? I said, give me 1 month. I don't know. I bought, there was a couple of dumbbells, one bar, and a couple of plates. But the good thing in Iran at the time when bodybuilding was illegal, me and one of the guy, Mehdi, we were going back of a wrestling gym and we were lifting weight. But there was no gym back then. It was one bar and a couple of dumbbells. So we were creative and doing all kind of exercises with this. So I went back to the basic. And I start training people with those couple of dumbbells, and people would come into the gym and say, "Where's the gym?" There was no mats on the floor. There was nothing. I remember $80, believe it or not, $80 desk. I didn't have money for it. I put my money together to buy one $80, and I would sit behind it all day in that gym. It's for somebody to walk in. I was just praying, please, somebody walk through that door. And they would come and they walk through the door and they tell me, "Hey, so what do you want to do here?" I said, "You pay me and I get you in shape. Just try one free session." And I would train them. They would throw up. They couldn't believe it because I knew how to exactly tax their muscle individually. So I would lock them in. They couldn't even raise their arm or something. They would be fascinated. And because I was full of passion, the fire that you have, always remember, guys, always remember that fire. People gather around fire. They gather around they don't come for equipment. They come for your energy. They come for your passion. And that's who I was. I was a passionate guy, and I was sharing my vision with them. I was telling them, I want to be a world champion. I want to be and they would say, "Oh, this guy is crazy." And I would eat, like I'm eating 8 meals. I would eat them exact at the same time. And they were just looking at me and watching me. They realized, no, this guy is not messing around. And they wanted to be around the winners. That's what I believe. And that's my attitude is even to this day. I always act like a winner.
Yeah, that makes sense because gyms are not just about equipment, they're about cultures.
Correct.
This brings me to this. Six Packs is the name of your gym. Six Packs became more than a gym. It felt like a community. What was the secret to creating that kind of culture people wanted to be part of?
Me being myself. If you are yourself, you allow others to be themselves. If you and then not running gimmicks, nothing. I'm here, I'm having fun. And when you having fun with your own thing and people come have fun with it too. I'm not trying to enforce anything on anyone. No, just grab a t-shirt, six-pack t-shirt and join. Come on in. If you're a girl, you're a guy, old, young, just join in. And I'm not judging you. So I think not having a judgment toward it or any kind of a view toward anyone, I just have the doors are open. Come on, let's pump some blood in those muscles. And that was my attitude. And people gathered. And of course, I shared myself with them, and then they shared themselves with me. They start telling about who they are and their win. And then I would just, when we're at the gym, and I would just introduce them. I say, "Hey, for example, this is Amir first day." And because I trained busy professional, maybe the guy was a lawyer or whatever, I would just introduce them very lightly and they would take it on. And that's how kind of people start getting to know each other. They bring in their friends, family, wife, husband. And it's been an amazing experience here. I'm having a lot of fun.
I love that. Most people underestimate how much community matters. But starting a gym isn't all community. It's risk, sweat, and sacrifice too. What's a sacrifice you had to make in those early years? Something you gave up and still sticks with you today?
So to me, I don't see it as a sacrifice. I work. And I don't see it as work because I believe this is why I call it my calling. Because I just want to wake up, do this. I don't wake up at 5 a.m. Even when I started the gym, I would just sit there and I would think, or I would just create this whatever I want, the equipment I want, however I wanted it. I'll be just working. And to a lot of people, when they look from outside, say, "Oh my God, Siavash, you're doing a lot." Like I didn't travel, I didn't go anywhere, I don't buy anything. Everything has to be aligned with Six Pack Gym. Even my cars. The sticker on the back, the license plate are 6 packs. My motorcycles are 6 packs. Everything for me, 6 packs is my life and is my calling. To some that looking from outside, they feel like I sacrifice a lot because I don't have a family, I don't have kid. But to me, I'm having so much fun. I'm having a blast. So I don't see anything as a sacrifice. But as far as me putting in work, that's all I do. I wake up to be number one.
I love it. So you're living and breathing 6 packs. So and for you, it's just hard work. I love that. That's real. And I think our audience needs to hear this. Sometimes freedom comes through sacrifice, but I imagine there were also moments where it all felt like it might collapse. Was
Absolutely.
there ever a moment where you thought, this is it?
Absolutely. Imagine the gym is making over $50,000, $60,000 a month. And then on a day of COVID happened, they stopped. And I went from that revenue to zero for 3 months, right? So there was that, and then before that, I made mistake on hiring. The person wanted to take me to court, blah, blah, blah. There was a moment that I hired wrong people. They crashed on my website and everything went down to zero. So that all
What pulled you through that?
intensity. And I believe intensity. The way I am, I focused on it. Okay, this is crashing. I pull back. I'm upset. Okay, I pull back. What do I need to do that this doesn't happen to me again? And then I wanted to make sure that I put all my focus in this one subject to fix it. So that I am. This is one of my talents, that I can laser focus on anything that I want. I focus on it so much that to the point that I, believe it or not, I want to throw up from thinking about it so much. And when you put that kind of intensity, intention behind anything, I believe you can solve any problem, anything. Because the answer to any problem is within you. You just have to be quiet, be intense enough, be focused enough to bring it to the surface, and you'll figure it out.
Fantastic. Resilience is right there. I see that. And speaking of resilience, you captured a lot of lessons in your book. By the way, this is a great book, Small Gym, Big Results by Siavash. You can find it on Amazon. Fantastic. I recommend it to any entrepreneur, business people, those who want to actually start a gym business. So this is a great book. While you were doing that, while you were writing your book, was there a story that even you saw differently once you put it down on paper?
So this book, believe it or not, was the best therapy for myself, because when I was basically living life and pushing things forward, I never sat down to reflect what happened to me with my whole story, right? So when I sat down, I remember when COVID happened, now the gym are shut down. I said, you know what? I had a business mentor. He said, you know what? Instead of panicking and worrying about this, sit down and write your life story, because if you write your book, then we had a plan of course, licensing the gym. He said, this book will change your life. So I sat in a garage. I had a dog, Rhino, and man, I was writing and crying, just going back, because I had to go back to childhood, what I went through, the whole thing. And it just became a therapy, spitting it out, writing it. And that's why I encourage a lot of you guys that are listening to ink it. Just don't think it. When you're thinking about it, it's just when you start inking it and putting it on your thoughts, everything will become in order. So, and the book shine another light on me, that it started changing my role. As I said, I was this bodybuilder, I was this personal trainer. The book put me through this transition. Like, hey, now I'm passing on the knowledge to the other people. It changed. I need to be changed to that person in order to be able to deliver this correctly. So there was a lot of internal voices. There is a lot of personal growth that happened for me when I was writing the book. And another thing that I really want to pay attention when I was writing a book is to write it in a very simple language, write it the way I sound. Didn't want to make it very complicated to impress people. I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm just here to share what happened to me and my story and how I built this amazing gym, and which I believe anyone can do it if they follow my method. And those are a lot of internal, I would say, internally I changed.
Love that. Love that. It shows how storytelling can even teach the storyteller. Let's shift gears a bit from the physical to the personal. When you talk about health today, do you mean just fitness or something much bigger?
Because I come from a bodybuilding background, I'm about vanity, to be honest. I'm about looking good. And why do I say that? Because health is very big, very general. It really doesn't, to me, it's not very inspiring just to eat a green apple and talk about health. To me, when you look good, you look at yourself in a mirror, that you're looking good, encourages you to do more. And in order to look good, you have to eat right. You have to do cardio. You have to basically, you have to have that ecosystem right in order to have a beautiful physique. And that beautiful physique always send a signal to everyone that this person take care of themselves. It's a positive. Anywhere I go, I sit down in the bank. As soon as I sit down, the person tells me, man, I got to start going to the gym. I know one thing, that I send a signal to this person that looking good. It's just, you're sending a positive energy to everyone. So my main goal at Six Pack Gym is to make you look good. So I give you a diet, I train you. And once you basically, you start loving yourself, my main goal is to make you fall in love with yourself. So when you start looking yourself in the mirror, you're seeing the vein, you're seeing the lean. If you're a woman, you see your composition changing, you're standing up better, your clothes, your dress are fitting you better. That will motivate the hell out of you to pay attention to your health, to your diet, to your training, to your lifestyle. Pretty much. That's my approach.
Absolutely. Firsthand experience, my personal experience, when there is confidence, you can move the mountains. So regardless
Mhm,
of, what obstacle or challenge you're facing with,
mhm.
if you have inner belief or enough motivation and confidence, that a part of that can come from a good shape and a nice body, of course. I 100% agree with you. And that's why here on Beyond the Summit podcast, we talk a lot. The main focus is on how health fuels wealth and both unlock freedom. This is the whole concept of my podcast and Beyond the Summit.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about wealth.
Mhm,
When six packs started generating real income,
mhm.
what did wealth mean to you at that point? Survival, success, or something else?
Yes, for me, it was at the beginning. I never thought I'll be able to make this kind of money. I never even, imagined it. To be honest, it was. I started. I was just, as I said, I wanted to keep the door open. Once I started learning about business, I met this guy at the gym. He looked around. I trained him, and he said, "You are sitting on $100 million business." And I said, "What?" He said, "Your website is wrong. What is this website? Why is it?" Because I made the website myself. I made this crazy website. He said, "No, you should look like Apple." I said, "Oh, this guy's crazy. Apple. I'm killing people here. You're telling me to be a software company." So he started educating me. And the business has started, as I said, it grew alongside of the business, my belief system. Just like the way I'm training someone that comes to the gym, a woman that doesn't believe that she can lift up 20, 30 pounds, and I slowly make her believe herself. Hey, I give her 15 pounds, she does it. And now she's evaluating her thought. Hey, I think I can do this. So that started happening to me. So once I started changing my system, I went from one-on-one training to semi-private training. I started training 3 people at a time. My income doubled to 3. And I said to myself, six packs. It needs to be 6 people in a group. Bump it up to 6 people. Boom, my income triple, another triple up. So the money came in, and more than anything, I look at money like a fuel, because my mission is a six-pack gym being everywhere in every neighborhood in America. Hopefully, we'll be in Canada as well. So I want this money to throw it at this fuel to make this fuel at the fires to make this bigger fire. That's the way I look at money. And the thing, right now, my mission, the wealth that I feel like, to me, that is wealth, it have impact more than anything. I want to have impact. My mission is to have six-pack gym in every neighborhood in America, and hopefully have it everywhere else as well. And making those impact, hearing those people coming in, a lot of people come share how six pack changed their life. You have no idea. I have so many letters here, so many cards giving me how I changed it up. People have kids, I make them lose weight 40, 50 pounds. Now they can have kids. It's been amazing. These voices that come at me, it motivate the hell out of me to do more.
Yeah, fantastic. That's really fascinating. So you use money as a fuel, but sometimes it's distracting. So
Mhm.
did it ever pull you off mission, having that amount of money that you were not thinking of,
Not at all. Right now, I'm making really good money, to be honest. This little gym is 1,000 square feet gym, and you make $1 million out of this little gas station. And no, never ever deviate me, because even if I buy a car, I'll buy a car that is aligned with the gym. Like I'll buy a muscle car because I know that will market the gym. So at least that's what I tell myself. But and then one thing it is, with the money, you have to treat yourself as well in order not to get burned out. People have different styles. Some people, they like to just save, and that's what give them security and everything. For me, no, I like to live large. Because when I come to my house, I have a big house here, big garage, big backyard. I can rent part of my house. I don't want it to, because I want to come in feeling internally. I want to feel rich. I want to feel large. And then when I feel inside that, I can express it. When I'm walking around, people know that I feel that inside. So treat yourself the way you like to be treated. Don't look at it, oh, if someone like a Warren Buffett, who is not spending money, he is living a very humble life, that's what motivating to him, right? So to me, something else motivate me to be able to push harder in my business. Like when I'm coming home and I see my cars are all lined up in my driveway, muscle car, 3 muscle car, 3 bikes, I have a truck asset. So when I'm coming in, I feel I'm the man. So that put me in a good mood to be here in this podcast and be loud and proud anywhere I go. So that's the mindset. That's how I set it up for myself.
I love it. That's why I really like to hear, different perspectives, different voices, because everyone's style is different and
Mhm.
everyone has, I always say this, everyone has a unique story to tell. I love it.
Absolutely.
So today, when you think about freedom, what does it look like for you? Is it time, money, creativity, or something else?
I would say the money give me the freedom to hang out with the people I want and I stay away from people that I don't want to hang out. That's the way I put it, to be honest. I live in an area that is like 2 miles away from the beach in LA. It's a very kind of this neighborhood, the school, everything here. It's amazing. There's no crime. The money allows me to live where I want to live. It allows me to hang out with the people that I want to hang out, to work with the people that I want to work with. I can say no to the thing that is bothering me. Before in the past, when I didn't have this option, I had to say yes to everything. I had to sit through everything. But now I don't need to do, no, I have money, so I can make that decision if I want this or I don't. And I can control my life better. And of course, the biggest part of it, I help out back home. This is the biggest one for me, sending money back home, helping out my family, friends and stuff like that anytime I can. And if they need it, that is very rewarding to me. It's a very, very rewarding to me that I came to this position, because when I was on the street, I had no one. I wish I had the Siavash. I wish I had a Siavash that would call, I could call. Now I am that guy that if my family gets stuck, they can call me.
I love it. It's adorable. So is that fair to say that money is not the end goal for you, but it's kind of way to live the life that you're looking for, you want to live?
Absolutely. The way I like to say, I don't want people to think, I'm saying, I don't like money. No, but the way I look at money, I'm not desperate going after it. If I see that I can hire a good guy, and I throw money at it. If I can see that, hey, this system, this CRM is good, I throw the money at it. What's money for? Money, that's exactly, to me, money is for to basically help you to get closer to what you want, right? So that's the way I look at money, and I want to have a lot of it because I know I can do a lot. I can have a lot more impact if I have the money. I can get better exposure, run more ads, blah blah blah. It's just fuel to me, and I'm after it because of that.
Yeah, I love that. So you've gone from an athlete to a trainer to an author slash entrepreneur. Which identity shift was the hardest for your personality?
I would say the funny thing is you forget who you were in the past, because it's moving so fast. I would say when I led the gym, when I started hiring employees and letting that go, that was the most brutal one. I still have a little bit of it left. It depressed the hell out of me because I lost my identity. I offload the work, I delegate the work, I train everybody and everybody loving me. And now I'm sitting home. I'm not seeing anyone and I have to work on the business, and the gym is running. Gym doesn't need me. People don't need me. I'm like, okay, who am I? What am I doing? So letting go was really, really tough. Letting go and letting employees run it, especially I wanted to be exactly 100%. Oh no, you have to do this exactly. I was micromanaging and I was like pulled back. No, you got to let go. You got to let go. Every time in your journey, there is a moment that comes that you have to let go. You have to let go. And I would say this was the biggest one, letting go of the actual gym, because I worked so hard to create a certain intensity, certain culture at that gym. And I was so worried about it that it kind of loses that intensity, the vibe. And yeah, that was the toughest part.
So that's powerful. And it makes me wonder, if young Siavash could see you now, what would surprise him most?
I've done EMDR, kind of a therapy that takes me back. And actually, for me, it's backward. When I'm looking back and looking at young Siavash, I am so goddamn proud of him. This guy was animal. That Siavash, I look at it, sometimes it was a question actually someone asked on Facebook. He said, hey, if you, they ask everyone, and said, if you go back, what would you tell that young guy? I would tell him, well done. You did amazing. I'm so proud of him because he went through hell to make the Siavash that is here and enjoying this house, enjoying this lifestyle, enjoying the American dream. He left nothing. He gave it all. And I'm at peace with my previous younger self. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Siavash, I want you to paint day one as a founder. Mm-hmm. Where did your first 10 paying clients come from? And what exactly did you promise them?
So I sat in the gym. I thought I didn't even know nothing about business. I didn't know even you have to have I just got a DBA, doing business as $14. I went to an office. They gave me this permit to doing business. And I had no idea what to do. So I went back to my old days of pizza shop. When I was working in a pizza shop, sleeping in a pizza shop, I was passing out flyer for the pizza shop. So I printed out a bunch of those, and I stopped putting it on cars, outside, just the way I was doing a pizza shop day. And I put a little banner on top of the door, a little banner. I paid, I think, $150. He said, lose up to 15 pounds in a month. And that's it. I couldn't do anything else. So I would just sit in that place, and people would come. I remember a gardener came, and he said, hey, he was really heavy. His name is Jesse, still training at gym. He was 500 something pounds. And he says, what's going on here? Where is the gym? Blah, blah, blah. So I start signing him up and start right away losing weight. I remember another doctor came in, and he was a doctor. He was a young guy that was a heart surgeon. And he came in and he told me, oh, can you get me 6 packs? And I said, sure. I got him a 6 packs in a matter of a few months, and he brought 20 other doctors with him from the school that they were going to, and I got him in shape. Wow. So the word of mouth, especially when I was training them, and they say, "Oh, this crazy guy in this little hole that he's rented it." At the time, I wasn't in this location. I was in a very.
What did they literally hear out of your mouth?
I was extremely confident. I would just tell him, "Hey, if you pay me, but you pay." At the time, I was selling a month, 3-4 months packages. I was saying, if you pay me for 3 months, $600, I'll go buy a mats, because right now I don't have a mats. We need to drop the weight on the floor, and I need a mats. And the guy would look at me, and they would give me the money. The next week or two, come back, the mats is on the floor. And this guy is for real. He's not messing around. He's not lying to us. And that's how I was extremely real. I wasn't trying to be sounding big, sounding large. No. It's Siavash right here in the little gym, and I'm struggling, and everybody can see it. Hey, you have money? No, I don't have it. I have a beat up car outside, and these guys will see, oh, this guy is giving it everything he's got. As I said, they love that. America, one thing I noticed in America, that people root for those underdog, for someone who puts effort in, and that's what they saw. They saw it in me, and they supported it. And I'm really thankful to the people around here, the neighborhood, the community that have been, big part of my gym. People would come in and they tell me, hey, my website was messed up. Danny will say, hey, I'll fix your website. I remember the light were out. One of the guys, electricians, said, man, I'll fix it up. They would bring tool and fix it. The mats on the floor, I didn't know how to lay it out. One of the guy came with a razor, cut it up, So people start adding, and you start a snowball, and people will join the movement. They want to be a part of it. And of course, if you go into a gym and you help out to fix the electrical here every time, would you like to go to that gym, or you go to another gym that you have absolutely no connection? So that's how I brought clients to have a skin in the game as well. Put their picture up. I made them to sign the wall. Hey, I lost 10 pounds. I would make them sign the wall. So this kind of thing kind of build a community. And of course, it helped me a lot.
So I really love that. This is fascinating, because it's kind of offer you were giving them so real that they couldn't resist.
Absolutely.
I really like that. So you mentioned about a wrong hire, and it takes me to this concept of hiring. As a business owner and a founder, it's so crucial. I cannot put enough emphasis on this. So when you hire coaches, what behaviors prove they really care? And what's a non-negotiable that protects the room's energy, specifically after the experience you had?
Absolutely. So I used to hire by gut feeling, right? To say, okay, this guy's a good guy, jump in, boom, let's go in, right? And then I would expect common sense, because I thought everyone is like me. That's one of the biggest mistakes I've made. Everyone is like me, everyone coming into just going out of heart. But I noticed a big one that, hey, I'm expecting him. I'm not telling them exactly what to do. I need to have it exactly, spit it out what I need from them. So how can I do that? First, I recommend highly to everyone that own a business, document all your processes. Even when I say hi to people, they're coming in is part of the process. You say, I'll write that. I leave nothing to a chance. How to weigh people. When you weigh people, when you want to do the waiver, first do weigh and then do the waiver. Don't do the waiver before the weigh in. So all these are psychology that I learned, the mistake that I've made. Every single part of this business has been documented. The second one, when I wanted to hire, first, I document myself for a couple of weeks. Every 15 minutes, what do I do? What am I doing? I log it. I'm training people on the floor. And I look, wow, 6 hours a day I'm on the floor. I need to delegate this part because someone else can do this. and I can work, for example, on a YouTube. So I come in and I look for that person. So what does that person need? Punctual, have a good energy. And then the other one is to be my own student. I only hire within the community. I only hire the people that are trained with me. So that they are a true believer in what I do. They believe in what they already know half of the system. And now I have all those documents, as I said, document all the processes. I have a team certification for them. They join, they study it, and then they get on the floor and constantly getting corrected by me. I'm obsessed with correction. I correct myself constantly. I'm very critical of myself. So if you're around me, I'm constantly on you to be better. So I help them to get better and better.
So it's wonderful. So you have created SOP for every aspects of your business. That's wonderful. The main takeaway,
Absolutely.
have SOP for everything that you do.
Correct.
A system in place that works perfectly fine, even if you're not there. So because people know what to know, what to do, Perfect.
Correct. Exactly.
So our thesis in Beyond the Summit is health fuels wealth. What are your non-negotiable habits for energy, training, sleep, food, and mental reps?
So when it comes to training, more is not better. That's the first thing with the training. That's why people at Six Pack Gym either train 2 or 3 times a week. Second one, when it comes to diet, I want it to be as practical as possible. As you can see, I didn't say easy. I said practical. What do I mean is don't be counting calorie yet and this and that. Yes, it is. Does it get you results? Absolutely. But the problem is you cannot keep this up for the rest of your life. So you want to come up with a style of dieting that is practical to you. You wake up, you have a couple of eggs. A couple of hours later, you have a green apple, for example. A few hours later, you eat chicken, a little bit of rice. You always watch your carbs. You don't eat too much at night. So those, I would go about it a very practical way. And the one thing, and another thing is I would not have a big goal. I would break down that goal to a smaller one. Why? Because that when you have a big goal, it will torture you. I remember when I was bodybuilding, I wanted to be Mr. Olympia. So what do? I'm constantly comparing myself to Mr. Olympia. What does that do? Torture the hell out of me every single day. Versus me saying, hey, I want to be a state champion. I want to be a local champion first. So I compare myself to the local champion guy. When it comes to losing weight, if you want to lose 50 pounds, let's knock out 20 first. And that will motivate you to go to the next level. And another thing is I highly recommend to everyone is not to lose momentum. There will be phases that you will not be as motivated. There will be time in the business, for example, you're not as motivated to push. Don't go to a stop. Don't go to zero. Stay active. Do whatever you can. If you're training and you can't diet because your diet is all over the place, you can still do cardio. You can still show up to the gym a couple of times a week. Okay, you have a knee problem, you can't do cardio. You can still do good or the diet. So do whatever you can at the time, and that will push you forward.
Fantastic. Siavash, what do you want people to remember most about your journey when all is said and done?
I gave it all. I want them to know I gave it all. I came here and I gave it everything I had. There was nothing came to my mind that I didn't do it. And I want to set the tone for all the kids back home, nephew and everything, to see how hard I tried, and I never gave up regardless of second. It didn't matter. I never quit. And I like them to remember my intensity. I like that though, because I feel like I'm that, I put intensity into anything.
I'm not sure if you've already done that, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you could carve one message into the wall of Six Pack's gym forever, what would it say?
Wow, that's a good one. Pain is a root of growth. And that's a good one. I have to. And another one that I always say is that action cure fear. Just jump in. And when you're fearful, just go for it. That's what I feel like. And especially if the fear is bigger, there's something real. The real opportunity is sitting there for you. So you got to go for it.
Fantastic. So to close this out, I'd love for you to leave our audience with something practical. If someone listening today wants to start climbing toward their summit, what's one habit or mindset they can start practicing today?
Dream big and have no fear. Sometimes it's us that, because we say, oh, I want $1 million. Nah, that's not possible. That's too much. You just said it to yourself. You just killed that dream. Or I want to have a gym. But man, I don't have money. I don't have this, that. You will start putting those limitations on yourself. Don't worry. Don't worry what's going to. Just let's have the dream. What is your dream today? Sit down, pen and paper. I want you to sit down and write it down. Describe that beautiful life that you think. I want you to put yourself in that center and describe it with details. I have it exactly. What do I want Siavash to be living in this place? To how I want it. How many cars do I want? What color of car do I want? What my life wanted to be. I have described it to myself, and it's so wild, it's so crazy that I'm not even showing it to anybody. You know why? Because they can't grasp this kind of a vision, and what they do, they will shoot it down by negative thing. No, I can dream, and I can dream big. So I want to see how capable you are today. By how far can you think? Can you be that delusional guy for now, which you have to be at the beginning of anything? So I want the audience today to sit down and describe the dream life on the pen and paper. With a pen and paper, describe it to yourself, and that's what I want to tell them.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, and last thing, can you mention some books or movies or any kind of medium that had kind of impact on your success that you want to share with the audience? If there is something in your mind right now, you can think of something.
Absolutely. It's funny. I don't
Apart
watch
from your own book, which is fantastic.
Thank you. I want to say here, I really appreciate you coming in with knowing so much about me. I've been on other podcasts. You read my book. You looked me up. You came in prepared, even more than myself, to be honest. So I really appreciate that. I want to tell the audience, I don't watch TV. I haven't been watching TV over 20-something years. I don't watch, and I don't listen to music. It's weird, but the way I do it, because I want to protect my mind. I think a certain way, and I feel a certain way. I don't want to have any external thing affecting me and my thought and the way I think about life right now. So I very limit myself, but I read a lot of book. And I would say the book by James Allen, that's one of the great book. It's a very short read, like 40-50 pages, so you can knock it out. The way I want to answer this is because I don't know, each one of you guys are in different phase of life. The book that makes sense to me right now, it does not make sense to you in your journey, where you at right now. But there are books that, for example, when I wanted to learn to become a gym builder, to become this guy who wants to help other people, I read the book called Expert Secret. That is a good book that I highly recommend to you, to your audience, to read, because it will give you a good foundation of how to set yourself up, how to tell your story, and how to create a movement. So it's a great book, highly suggested when it comes to business. And as far as when it comes to bodybuilding, I am a big believer in Arthur Jones, the guy who basically came up with the HIT system, the guy who started the whole thing. And of course, Mike Mentzer, his disciple, and of course, after that, Dorian Yates applied their system to his training. So I would study Arthur Jones as well if you're into fitness.
Fantastic. Siavash, is there anything that you wanted to talk about but we haven't touched or covered?
Actually, this was really good, and it was way different than all the other podcasts that I have done. I usually start sharing my story and I go at it, but you made me reflect on a bunch of stuff and pulled out a bunch of stuff that I wasn't even thinking to share with you guys. So thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for this question and coming in prepared. It made me feel good. And the biggest one, as I said, talking to you, it motivated me. Talking to you, it just boom, it put me back on a map, and brought me back to the center. So I really, really appreciate you having me here, talking to me, sharing, of course, your knowledge as well on your side.
Thank you for sharing that, and I really appreciate for your wonderful feedback. And thanks again for taking your time, being on Beyond the Summit. Thanks.
Thank you so much for having me.